Hi. The last picture of him before he died in November 1941. A party favor of a dinner given to the Bakers who were living in Bound Brook, New Jersey before they left for Baltimore in 1903. This is celebrating, looks like Valentine's Day, of course. So let's see what they had. Little neck clams, bouillon, crackers, olive celery, boiled salmon, shrimp sauce, cucumbers, sweetbreads, mushrooms, almonds, radishes, roast beef, new potatoes, scallop of tomatoes, rolls, cherry sherbet, fricassee of chicken with rice, Waldorf salad. It says macaroon souffle, crackers and cheese, coffee, cigars, S-E-G-A-R-S, bonbons, and a wine, which would be Sauterne. A picture taken in 1904 in a section of Baltimore called Walbrook on 15th Avenue. And here we have on the left my mother, Helen Graham, and her sister Janet Graham. Evidently, the Bakers and their friends in Baltimore got together for a little spoofy presentation here on February 22nd, 1908. A lot of zany comedy. Number one up there on the left says, "A few minutes with the minstrels." And we have Reverend Taylor, who evidently took the part of Bones, and a Reverend Watkins took the part of Tambo. And we have a lot of Ostermeyer sisters, and it says down here number 4, it says General Washington Sr., played by Mr. Charles Oatmealy, so you get the flavor of what's going on here. And we have the famous Gibson Bathing Girls and all kinds of stuff. Henry Fenimore Baker Jr. at 6 months. Henry Fenimore Baker Jr. at 2 years, 5 months. Gals, check out that curly hair. Ditto the same person at about 6 years old. I was told by him that his hair was cut before he went to the first day of school. You can see why. Grandpa Baker was very instrumental in the Mount Washington Club in Baltimore. And this paper is the American Star, Wednesday, September 16th, 1908. I had to disassemble this scrapbook. It's falling apart, as you can see. And I have scads of pages of newspaper articles and photographs like this, and I won't bore you with all of them. But anyway, this is one of the lacrosse teams. The handwritten date on here is 1907. Now the people in the photograph are not listed, but I'm pretty sure that this is Uncle Al and this is Uncle Ned or Edwin, and this is my dad. And this is the midget team of lacrosse in 1908. These people are listed, and this is Uncle Al and Uncle Ned and my dad. One of many of my dad's athletic awards. And this one is dated at the bottom left corner, 1962-1964. This looks like a section from a lacrosse magazine, highlighting Dad. And it goes into his background. A letter from the Lacrosse Hall of Fame when Dad was elected to it in November 1964. It tells about his athletic involvement in Friends School in Baltimore. He helped start a football team there and went to Swarthmore College, played lacrosse there, 1916. And talks about his business experience. And 1917 he enlisted in the service, was commissioned a second lieutenant, went overseas in 1918 in the 58th Coast Artillery Corps, discharged May 1919 as a first lieutenant. And then in 1942 he re-enlisted as captain. Married Helen Graham on June 1st, 1921. The kids, his second wife, Ethel Minor Cox, and they were married February 9th, 1963 in Baltimore. Well, the only award I ever got in my whole life was an honorable mention at a snipe hunt. This is the original newspaper photograph in 1911 when I guess people in Baltimore, and my grandfather included, on the right holding hat, to welcome Japanese Admiral Togo, who was the victor of a naval battle with the Russian fleet in 1904. I took a picture of that former photograph with this camera and put it through the computer and the printer, and came out with this. And the comparison between the two. A huge affair in Baltimore of the 30th annual banquet of the Merchants and Manufacturers Association of Baltimore. And it says January 26, 1911. So let's see what they had to eat. Le menu. Starting off with cocktails and Eau Sauterne. I'm sure that's a white wine. And it says clear green turtle. Celery, salted nuts, olives. And the drink with that is, looks like an amontillado, whatever that is. Then they had another course, terrapin a la Renard. This was at Renard Hotel, by the way. And the drink that went with that is Mum's Extra Brut. And they had roast Jersey capon, Parisienne potatoes, and fresh mushrooms. Canvasback duck, and it says hominy chafing dish, currant jelly. And the drink with that is Mum's Selected Brut. Then they had a Smithfield ham as the next course, and hearts of lettuce, French dressing. And the drink with that was White Rock. Kind of think that was a mineral water. And it says fancy ices, assorted cake, camembert, Roquefort cheeses with toasted crackers, and coffee. And then they had liqueurs with that entree. And there were a lot of important people there. His Excellency Austin L. Crothers, the governor of Maryland, and His Honor the mayor of Baltimore, a baron from Austria-Hungary, and a United States senator from Maryland, Rayner, and a guy named Towson, senator-elect from Michigan. Here's a senator-elect from Nebraska, a House representative from Missouri, another one from Pennsylvania, another one from Alabama, a House representative from California, one from North Carolina, two from Maryland, and the bottom guy is a member of the Gridiron Club. An engraved announcement from Robert Garrett and Sons, 506 Continental Trust Building in Baltimore, on October 2nd, 1911. We beg to announce that Henry Fenimore Baker, who is Grandpa, heretofore president of the Thompson Chemical Company, and two other guys are hereby admitted to be partners of the Robert Garrett and Sons. So Grandpa got a promotion. The oldest of the 6 Baker kids, Marjorie, and she married a Frank Breyer, who is very expertise in metallurgy. This looks like a picture taken in the late 20s and 30s somewhere. Henry Fenimore Baker Jr. No date on the back, so it looks like maybe 1916, 1917. It might well be a college picture at Swarthmore College, Pennsylvania. Good looking guy. Here's my mom. Pretty woman. Oops. Picture taken just before they tied the knot on the date listed. This is Edwin, or Ned Baker, one of the 6 Baker kids. He developed rheumatic fever 8, 9, 10 years old, somewhere in there, and didn't take care of himself. And he died in February 1925. The family moved from Round Bay, Maryland in 1942, I'm sure the summer, and moved up to Towson, north of Baltimore, into this row house. There were 4 homes in one building. We had the end one. And Dad, as stated before, rejoined the Army in 1942, went for training. They paid $6,400 for this house. Dad was extra elegant in his uniform, and he told me a funny story that when he was over in France and the war was over there in November 18, his battery regimental commander volunteered all his troops to do cleanup at the port, equipment, railroad equipment, etc. And the guys did not like that. They wanted to go home. So when some of the men in his unit had gotten out of the service, working for a railroad, saw his baggage come through,